It is the 25th of February, 2026. This is WIKISPEED LRW project, weekly stand-up. You want to start us off, Lauren?
Sure. The past week I didn't do much. Coming week, I don't know that I'll do much. Blocks are doing corporate taxes for the first time with the deadline of Monday.
No pressure.
I'm not.
Okay. Dave, you're up.
Well, as I predicted, I had a very busy week with all sorts of things, mostly doctor appointments and things like that. Plus, um, Saturday I went out to an big art festival and also went to the gym. And then to complicate things, Monday morning my girlfriend injured her leg, and I had to take her to the hospital, and then had to run around getting medicines and stuff for her. And then today I had to take her to a orthopedic doctor and everything. So basically, uh, my week was very full of other things. The only thing I did was today I took a few small steps towards learning Python, which everybody is touting as being great and everything. From what little I've seen, it looks like somebody tried to take the incomprehensible language C or C++ and turn it into BASIC and got halfway finished. Uh,
Yeah, not a bad summary.
I mean, it sort of looks like a cross between C and BASIC, um, where 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 somebody took some of the unreadable parts of C and replaced it with basic language, but not all of them. So it's still got some problems there and everything. But like I said, I downloaded a couple of interpreters and compilers and a PDF book on it, a couple of PDF books on it, and everything. And so I'm just gonna, because a lot of the things you like books and things on artificial intelligence are in Python. For some reason, somebody's decided that's the language for artificial intelligence. And so if I want to do any work with that, I probably ought to learn the Python. And worst case scenario, I then take the Python and translate it into either C or plus plus or basic, which I have, good compilers for.
You can actually load MicroPython on the SP32. I don't remember which company makes it, but it's a free download. And you actually burn it into the firmware, and it boots up into MicroPython and will run whatever program you're looking at doing. Yeah, the communications and the libraries on Python are awesome. And I think that's why everybody's using Python, because you can get a library that will do pretty much anything if you look hard enough. The problem is you're not writing the code, so you don't know what kind of bugs are in there. But if you're looking to prototype stuff pretty quick, Python's pretty good.
Well, let me see what if I understand what you're saying. You're saying that you actually burn a Python interpreter into an ESP32, and then you download it, the Python code into it, and the interpreter then runs it. I would assume that this is interpreted rather than compiled, so it would probably run rather slowly.
I believe it's slower than running it C++, for example.
Yeah.
But it's not that much slower than running just like from the Arduino in integrated development environment, because the Arduino IDE isn't super awesome in terms of being efficient for the ESP32, because they had to make it compatible. So it's kind of, I believe it kind of runs interpreted on the ESP32 anyway, but I'm not positive of that.
I mean, that doesn't make any sense. I mean, the Arduino IDE creates compiled code. So I would certainly assume that there would be a compiled language onto the
Well,
ESP32.
if you look at the code that you generate for Arduino, and then you look at the size of the code for the ESP32, the ESP32 is much larger for some reason, and it runs way faster because the chip is faster. But I don't know the ins and outs. This is just what I read.
One thing I was kind of curious about was the possibility of using ESP32s, maybe a couple of them working together to run programs, some type of computational programs, like let's take just an example, finding all the prime numbers or something. That you didn't want to tie up, if you had something that was going to need to run for a long time, and you didn't want to leave your computer running, all this time, running it and everything, or tying up your computer, running it. The idea of not you, never mind, um, of putting it onto like an ESP32, and then you could just, plug it in and have it run for a long, long time. It might be, I think I calculated it's like maybe a 10th or a 15th as fast as most PCs, but the idea of using that to run some type of computations like that.
I believe that's something that is done. Another thing that is done is you have the one ESP32 that handles your man-machine interface. So it handles the LCD and the buttons and all that other stuff. And then any kind of processing, it sends off to another ESP32 that just does it and then reports back, so that you don't have a slow user interface.
Yeah, I was thinking along that line myself. That's why I talked about having a couple of them. You could have one of it doing a lot of the computations, and then it could send the result. And you could actually break up the computations. I mean, like for example, suppose you were having it generate a list of things or something, and you wanted the list sorted. You could have it send each time it generated something in the list, it could send it over to the other one, and the other one could be doing the sorting. So you're not involved with that type of thing. And also the second one could say be running a web page or something, so you could be looking at the results. Anytime you wanted to see how it was going, you would get on your PC and you would look at the web page that was being hosted and have it displaying the results on this web page.
Okay. And there is a direct communication, low power, peer-to-peer called ESP Now, ESP-NOW, that lets ESP32s talk to each other.
Well, if nothing else, you could have it sent by the serial port. Have it go.
This ESP Now seems, I don't know what it uses for hardware. I don't know whether it's on I2C or SPI or whatever, but I've read about projects where they split up a robot into, this group is going to do the motor driver, and this group is going to do the steering, and this group is going to do the voice control and the arm and whatever.
Right.
And they all talk to each other, or all talk to a master using that ESP Now. I don't think I have that handy, but it was interesting for me. It's not what we want to do.
The ESP Now, this is one of the versions of the ESP, like the ESP32.
ESP Now is the communication protocol that it's a proprietary protocol that ESP32s have built in that will let them talk to each other rather efficiently.
Yeah. Okay. Well, one part of my thought was that you can get an ESP32 for about $6 or something.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like I said, if you rather than tie up a $300 PC, you could just you could break up the problem into parts or something and buy 10 ESP32s and have them running for a fraction of the cost of having a PC to run the problem for you.
Yep, that's pretty much it.
So, and of course, I don't know that much about like Raspberry Pis, whether they'd be better at it or what. But I never got into the Raspberry Pis. I figured I'd rather be really, really good at Arduinos than know a bunch of different little things and not be as good at them.
Yeah. Okay, so that's what you did last week. That's what you're doing next week. And your blocks, you already told us. So
let's see. So now I'm reading it. Blocks will be, as always, time. I am getting out of, well, I was going to say getting out of all this medical stuff, but I'm looking at still having, more, but yeah, I've still got half a dozen medical things in the coming month or so. But blocks, as always, will be time.
Okay. It's Michael Waltrix, Stream Canada. I have not a lot to do, or not a lot of reporting for this week. I spent a little bit of time trying to get the Docker running, and I was not successful. So I wrote down what I tried, and I will continue next week. That's pretty much what I'm doing. Blocks are their stuff as usual. Following around the grandson and stuff. Retro, Lauren, you want to start us off?
Sure. So I'll give myself a 3. I put up yeah. And the team, I'm going with an 8 still because we're talking and we're showing up. So I'm
okay.
8 for the team and no process improvement at the moment.
Okay. Dave, you're
Well, we keep giving ourselves at least a point for showing up to these meetings, so there's a point there, and I'll give myself maybe 2 points for getting started on the Python. I don't. There's nothing else I can think of that I got done, work related there. So I guess I'll give myself 3 points or something.
all right.
And as a process improvement, try to be more efficient with my time. One thing I'm trying to get myself into is a habit of getting up earlier and going to bed earlier. I normally get up around like 9:30, 10 o'clock in the morning or something, and stay up till like 1 o'clock. And I'm today I had to get up at 7:30 to take my girlfriend to the doctor and everything. And so one of the things I'm going to try to do is work my schedule around so that I don't miss so many things that happen at 10 o'clock in the morning, so many meetings and events and things like that. So that's going to be a process improvement. And along with that, just trying to be more efficient with my time.
Okay. I actually didn't expect I'd get very much done, and I didn't. I'm going to give myself a 5. I'm going to go with 8 for the team, and then I don't have a process improvement, so that wraps us up. Anything we want to talk about in crosstalk while we're still recording?
That's what's not for me, from my point of view.
Okay. I will hit the button then.